What's going on, guys? So I've had some interesting weather the last couple of weeks where I had some really nice spring weather, highs in the 60s and 70s. Then it went to dropping super low and a couple of days of snow. So now it's going to be warming back up into the highs in the 50s again. So I went spring, winter, spring. Technically, the week before it was in the 60s and 70s with snow. So it's been winter, spring, winter, spring. I've been kind of going back and forth. So my fragrance rotation has been kind of a mixed bag lately with some fresher fragrances and some denser, darker fragrances. So this rotation is kind of the epitome of what I've been experiencing, at least for the last week for sure, but really over the last month. And it's week number 119. So stay tuned. Starting off on Sunday is one of the blends that I received recently from Sensual Obsessions. This is a combination of Aventus Cologne and Mancera Red Tobacco. This is from Sensual Obsessions, from their gold line. This is called the Cigar King. So, a lot of tart fruitiness from Aventus Cologne with this sweet, boozy tobacco. Kind of has a little bit of that pungent red tobacco smell going on up top, but all the citruses, fruits, and clean musk of Aventus Cologne really kind of smooth and tone it back a little bit. This was my favorite of the four. For those of you that didn't see that video, I'm sure I'll have an iCard somewhere for you to check it out. This was my favorite. Actually, it was a live stream. This was my absolute favorite of the four. This is definitely worthy of trying. I've never tried an Aventus blend that had red tobacco, and then it's not just Aventus, it's Aventus Cologne. So it's fresher and, cleaner musk and all that, much more fruity. No smokiness and all that, because red tobacco's got a pungent incense, oud, earthy tobacco type of smell on its own. So this is definitely a good one. I really enjoyed wearing this one. The first impressions lured me in. I ended up wearing it as my scent of the day the next day. So if you were looking for some newer stuff to try from Sensual Obsessions, definitely check out the Cigar King if you're looking for a nice hybrid. I really, really enjoyed this stuff. Let me get it to focus. That would just be super lovely if it would focus. There we go. Too much going on in the background, I guess. But the Cigar King, really, really enjoyed this. And when I got the shower, I don't know why I was in the mood for it, but I ended up running with Versace Pour Homme. An all-time classic at this point. This is a modern classic, fresh fragrance. Citrus, soapy, white floral neroli, creamy light woods, inoffensive, the real king of the office in my opinion. This is even more inoffensive than Prada L'Homme. Prada L'Homme's still an acquired taste in my opinion, because if you don't like iris, you might not like it. But it's a more soapy iris. It's not the same as like a Dior Homme where it's waxy and smells like makeup or anything like that. But here, the neroli just adds a really soapy appeal. This is a clean, fresh, clean, soapy fragrance. Decent performer overall. Not a really long-lasting fragrance, but not super weak in my experience either. And it's one that just smells great. I mean, I've never met anybody that doesn't at least think it smells good. Maybe not smell great, but it definitely smells really good. Great office fragrance, great everyday casual wear, perfect in warmer weather. And ended up being what I lounged around the house in the evening after my shower. Out the shower, Versace Pour Homme, also known as Versace Signature. Moving into Monday, I had a pretty cold day going on. It was still cold. I'd wore a dense fragrance the day before. I went with another pretty warm and spicy fragrance that's definitely built for the cold. That's Parfums de Marly Calan. Extremely polarizing. One of the most polarizing niche fragrances that I can think of, because not everybody is a fan. People like me that really enjoy it swear by it because it's so different. And then there's some people that think it smells terrible. And look, it's got kind of a red rubber ball type of smell. Maybe it's the red of the bottle doing that to me. But it's a lot of blood orange up top, zesty type of orange. with a lot of spice. This has a lot of spice going on. It's a very spicy fragrance, warm and spicy. The faintest of Baccarat Rouge 540 similarities. I know some people, it often gets compared to a version of that, and I think that's a reach for the most part. There's a slight similarity kind of in the opening, early heart of the fragrance, but it changes pretty quickly. It's not close. There's a faint similarity in my opinion. It's definitely its own thing. This stuff is gorgeous. I loved smelling it in the air just now. Gorgeous to me anyways. There's people out there that think this stuff smells terrible and just don't understand how people could like it. That's why this is one of the main fragrances I absolutely, every time I ever talk about it, I tell you guys, try a sample first. I had a carded sample first. I didn't blind buy this one. It's a risky fragrance. It really is a risky blind buy because you may hate this stuff if you blind buy it. So definitely get a carded sample, get a small decant, something. Try before you buy. Performance is bananas. It does smell really good in the air to me. I have gotten a few compliments with this one. Not some compliment magnet, but it's interesting. And if you like spicy, it's at least worth a sample. During the day, the very polarizing Parfums de Marly Cologne. And then when I got the shower, we went from polarizing to just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. One of my favorite fragrances in my collection. Zaharoff Signature Rosé. I love this stuff. Love, love, love. So I've been hoarding the last little piece of my Signature Rosé bar soap that I had from the pre-orders months and months and months last year. More than months and months ago. It's last year at this point. And I lathered up, finished. I mean, I still have a little bit of it, but had a great shower with the bar soap, and naturally, I had to spray the fragrance when I got out. This stuff is so intoxicating. Still my favorite from the house. Even though it's not the one I wear the most, Tobacco is the one I wear the most. This one runs a race. I wear this pretty often, if nothing else, out the shower because it's very therapeutic and relaxing for me. Stunning fragrance. And even when I'm not wearing it, my wife has her own bottle, so I get to smell it on her. And the skin chemistry changes a little bit for it. The rose pops a little bit more. The sweetness comes out a bit more, whereas the oud and the incense comes out more on my skin with the rose than the sweetness. So it's interesting how that kind of stuff works. I've always loved that about skin chemistries with perfumes, and stuff's great. This is a must try from the house. Must try. If there's ever such a thing as a masculine rose fragrance, it's this. Out the shower, Zaharoff Signature Rosé. Moving into Tuesday, sticking with the house. It was starting to warm up a little bit, but the snow was coming the next couple of days. So it was not really warm, not really cold. It was kind of cool weather in the low 50s, high 40s, if I remember correctly. And I don't know why I was in the mood for it, but I stuck with the house. I stuck with Zaharoff. I went with Signature Royale X. This has been quite beloved. A lot of people have been digging this one. So much so, George decided to keep it in the collection because when he launched it, it was slated to just be a limited release that was not going to stay in the collection. Even for pre-sale, it stated that on the website, not a permanent fixture in the Signature collection. Well, the response was it needs to be a permanent fixture. So there's more coming. There's been a waiting list and everything. But if you like musky, this is it. It's a 27% oil concentration. It wears a little heavier. It's not a real strong projector. It wears heavy. It has a kind of a dense trail to it. This is the fragrance that'll grab somebody when you walk by, not so much as standing several feet away from somebody and them easily smelling you or being overwhelmed or punched in the nose, if you will, all those different terms that I like to use. This is more so when you walk by, they'll get a nice whiff, a strong whiff of the fragrance. Bright, zesty citrus, but a lot of musky, animalic suede leather type of accord. A little hit of juniper once the citrus is toned down, gives a little bit of a gin feel up top. This is a sexy fragrance. It really is. It does everything George wanted it to do with the storytelling. Make sure to check out the full review if you want to hear all the details of the fragrance, but definitely a good one. Not my favorite in the house, obviously. I like Rosé and Signature Tobacco more because I'm traditionally not a big musk type of guy, but my palate has changed to the point to where I do like more animalic musks more and more and more, and that's why I dig this one. Definitely check this one out if you're into to musky fragrances. So during the day, Zaharoff Signature Royale. And then we got the shower. Went from musky to bright green and zesty with Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger, one of my all-time favorite fragrances. Like I told you guys the last couple of times it's been in a video, you'll see it showing up in these rotations more and more because spring weather's rolling around. That's my favorite time of year to wear it, spring and summer. Such a good fragrance. It really is. Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. This takes me back to my childhood. This is elementary school and middle school, junior high, depending on where you're from, middle school, junior high. I've always loved this fragrance. I always have this. Like I said, it's 90s in a bottle to me. It's zesty green. There's juicy grapefruit up top. This cactus note gives that bitter, zesty, juicy, fresh, spicy type of feel to it. There's a lot of other things going on. A strange red berry type of note that gives a little bit of a fruity undertone without making it sweet. It's kind of more tart than sweet, if you will. Not a great performer, but I don't give a shit. This stuff smells incredible to me. I wear it often, especially this time of year. Great for the spring. Great transitional fragrance for me. Out the Shower, Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. Moving into Wednesday, it was nice and cold at this point. I wanted something spicy and warm, and I've been talking about this one a decent amount lately, just here and there, and it made me really want to wear it. Azzaro Wanted by Night. It's such a huge bottle too. I got a big old 5.1 ounce bottle, 150 ml. I'll never run out. This is so good. A little bit of that Sweet Aquatic Invictus feel for the opening, just a little bit. A lot of cinnamon, smooth tobacco, warm amber, a lot of dense woods. It's got a strong woody base to it, but a lot of cinnamon here. I love this stuff. I love heavy cinnamon. I love cinnamon in every fragrance when I can detect the cinnamon, or when it's a bomb. And in the early stages, this is almost a cinnamon bomb. I love it. It's a beast performer. It smells incredible. This is pretty much my stepson's signature, besides Jimmy Choo Man, since he got his bottle for Christmas, from what I understand, because he doesn't live with us anymore, but from what I understand, he wears this one quite often. He loves it. And you can get them cheap, $40 from Kingdom Fragrances. I got that 100 ml that I got him for Christmas. It's affordable. It's strong. It's seductive. It's a hype beast, but it's a justified hype beast. Kind of strange for me to wear it during the day for some. On my scent of the day post, a few people were kind of surprised and asked me, is that a good daytime scent? Anything's a good anytime scent if you want to wear it confidently. Yes, some things are better suited for certain situations, seasons, and attires. Don't get me wrong. But a nice cold day, you can't go wrong with something that's heavy on cinnamon. And Wanted by Night definitely did the trick during the day. That's what I went with. And then I got the Shower. Another one I talked about recently, made me want to wear it. Actually, after I recorded the video I featured it in, I wore it out the shower. Jimmy Choo Man Blue. A bit sweeter take on the average blue fragrance. Has a little bit of similarity to Aqua Senziale Blue from Salvatore Ferragamo, but definitely much, much sweeter. With that gorgeous Jimmy Choo atomizer. Citrus, aromatic, sweet, very dense, a little herbal, but not really. It's more so sweet than it is herbal, but it's very aromatic. A little bit soapy up top. A lot of tonka bean vanilla smell. A little powdery, but a lot of vanilla. I get a heavy dose of vanilla here. That's what makes it a bit more sweet than other blue fragrances. That's the one thing that separates it. Where it's not drastically different, like I said, from run-of-the-mill blues, but it's a heavy enough dose of vanilla, which vanilla's in so much these days. It's just the way it was blended. It's underrated. Not a ton of people talk about it. Is it mind-blowingly great? No. It's not even one of my 10 favorite blue fragrances, honestly. But I do think it doesn't get enough shine because you can get 100 ml bottles in the $30 to $40 range, whether it's a tester or a full presentation. And it's a solid fragrance. It's an average performer, not a beast. 5-6 hour type of stuff on my skin. Does project decently. Attractive smell to those around you. It's mass appealing. It's a crowd pleaser. And it was nice out the shower. A little much for out the shower, really. But worked out. I really enjoyed smelling it. Give this one a try if you've yet to check it out. This is a solid choice for the spring, too. Especially on those cool nights. Jimmy Choo Man Blue. Moving into Thursday is one that I have not wore in the fall or the winter, and the tail end of winter moving into spring is when I finally pulled this one out. And this is one of my favorite fragrances I've ever bought and added to my collection. One of my favorites from Ferragamo. It's just, this is the downside to having too many fragrances sometimes. You'll forget certain incredible scents that end up sitting and collecting a little bit of dust when they really shouldn't. And fragrances like Ferragamo Uomo Signature definitely fit that bill for me. If I can get this to focus, that would just be peachy. Come on. Focus. There we go. I got so much going on in the background, it's hard to get it to focus on this, but this is one of the best designer coffee-based fragrances out there. Coffee leather. It's a little sweet coffee leather fragrance. And I say little sweet, like it's not heavily sweet. I would say somewhere in the realm of take like 15 or 20% of Versace Eros' sweetness and top note. Mix it with roasted coffee and a soft brown leather. That's kind of what you get here. Compliment Machine. I used to wear this one a lot. I haven't worn it in a long time. That was definitely due. I haven't wore the line in a while. The one I wore most recently, the last time, was the original Uomo, the Tiramisu Super Gourmand dessert cake fragrance, basically, is how you can look at it. This is the best one in the line. I have most of them. I have Casual Life. I have Urban Feel. I have this one. I have the original. I don't have the special blend. But this stuff, man, I know price has gone up. It's not as cheap as it used to be. It's in the $40 to $50 range, but it's still worth it at that price point. It performs great without being overwhelming and super loud. It's every bit of an 8-hour fragrance on my skin. And like I said, it's kind of intoxicating. It's one of the better designer coffee fragrances out there. It's really damn good. This was hyped for a long time, including from myself. And shame on me. I haven't worn it in forever. And I saw it sitting on the shelf the other day and I said, hell, why not? The whole theme of the year for me is reaching back in my collection. This is one I'm definitely reaching back for if I wear, because it's been a long time. So good, so good. If you haven't worn it in a while, pull your bottle out. It's time. If you haven't tried it yet, you're missing out. This is one of the best fragrances they've ever put out from the house. Uomo Signature from Salvatore Ferragamo. And speaking of reaching back, I haven't wore this one out the shower in a long time. I used to wear this out the shower all the time. Nautica Voyage Sport. Nothing special here. Basic, cheap, woody aquatic, a little aromatic. Smells like a lot of other things. Lacoste Essential Sport. When I did a collaboration with my buddy Steve, Fragrance Fanatic, owner of Kingdom Fragrances, long time ago at this point, I had went to his house. We did shot some summer videos. This was back in like summer 2020. Damn, almost 2 years ago. Time flies. And we discovered that he had a bottle of Lacoste Essential Sport. They're the same damn fragrance. Nautica Voyage Sport and Lacoste Essential Sport are the same damn. I mean, I couldn't tell a difference. I had them on each arm. Could not tell it because we were featuring them both in a video. And when we both smelled them, we're like, this is the same scent. Did a little further testing, and yeah, same scent. So if you have Lacoste Essential Sport, steer clear. It's redundant. If you have this, steer clear of Lacoste Essential Sport. Not two fragrances you hear people talk about too often, but when it comes to cheap aquatics, they do smell really good. This is one of my favorite all-time out-the-shower scents. This is one of my favorite all-time gym bag scents. This is great. For $15, stuff's great. I love it. And when I say great, I feel that way. Will you? Maybe not. Maybe you don't like the cheap synthetic aquatics, but I like the house as a whole. I like most of this stuff. I like them for what they are. And what they are is smell good, on a budget, get by in a pinch. And out the shower, it's not too many that do it better than Nautica Voyage Sport. Moving into Friday, one of the new releases for the year that got a lot of hype. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people think it's okay. I happen to love it, more so than I even thought I would. And it's been such a joy to wear. I've been wearing it sporadically. Of course, I am talking about the new Drakkar Intense from Guy Laroche. I really, really dig this stuff. Very aromatic and bright and spicy up top. A little boozy, even though the notes may lie to you and tell you that it's not. It's got a little bit of a boozy feel up top. It really does. And it starts to dry into a slightly herbal meets vanilla sweetness, vanillic type of sweetness, dry down. It's really enjoyable. I like it. I don't know what the original Drakkar Pour Homme smells like. That was discontinued long time ago. I've never smelled it. I was never a huge fan of Drakkar Noir. I've had a bottle in the past. I had a 1 ounce bottle a long time ago. Never rebought it because it never was like, meh, gotta have it. And I don't know, for some reason or another, when I saw this announced through iFragrance, I was pretty excited about it. And I had a feeling I would like it. And I'll be damned, I really like it. I picked it up for 40 bucks on eBay. There's some places that have 50 mLs for 25 bucks, 30 bucks. And this is a brand new release. This came out like a month or so ago, you know? If you like barbershop aromatics, this is a modern take on a barbershop aromatic. It's still aromatic and spicy. That aftershave smell meets a little booziness and some sweetness. Really makes it a modern touch. Performance is solid on it while not mind-blowing. It seems to stick to my skin longer than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a 5 or 6 hour fragrance. Kind of goes more in that 7 to 8 hour range. Projection's nothing special after an hour. It does sit a bit close to the skin, but it keeps going and going. So for the price point, I love it. Dare I say, I love it. Really enjoying this one. Get your nose on it. Check it out for yourself. You might feel the same way. You might think it's just okay, but you won't know if you don't try it first. Drakkar Intense from Guy LaRoche. And then when I got the shower on Friday and tonight on Saturday, 2 nights in a row, one of my cheapy favorites. Talked about this one many times. Sean John 3 a.m. You can't go wrong with this fragrance. You just can't. It's a little citrus. It's a little bit of that gin and tonic smell. Touch of fig leaf. Adds a little bit of a soapy feel to it. And then you have that soft, supple leather. I'm going to just spray some more. You bathe in this stuff. Look at that atomizer. So good. Not a beast. Average at best. Below average performer really for me. Unique. Not too synthetic. Polarizing. I tasted, I sprayed so much, but I don't care. I love this stuff. I can bathe in this stuff. And you can find them for 20 bucks or less depending on the bottle size. I have a backup 100 ml. This is my 50 ml. One day I'll run out of this because I wear this one out the shower pretty often. And I'll bust that 100 ml open at some point. I got that for $13 at Burlington, my backup bottle. I paid 13 bucks for this too. So grab it if you want something different that's cheap, that definitely does not smell like anything else. Out the shower on Friday and on Saturday. Sean John, 3 a.m. Finally, on Saturday, I did my first impressions yesterday at the recording of this video, and I was so impressed at how rapidly it changed and just how different and how much the scent profile matches the story being told of finding the essence of your apex animal, the apex predator story and theme for Raja Parfum's Apex. I'm really feeling this stuff. I like this. I wore it today. I wore 5 sprays. It went all day. It projected very heavy in the first hour, room filling in the first hour. Then it got a bit close to the skin, but never got too close. It stayed pretty consistent for like 10 hours until I took my shower. This stuff is really good. Definitely worth a sample. Not a safe blind buy. Now that I've spent time with it, I started looking into what are people comparing it to. And I've been hearing comparisons of Italian Cypress from Tom Ford. I've never tried that one. And I would think based off the name, Cypress is dominantly featured. Cypress is a dominant note in this fragrance as well. This is not for the faint of heart, ladies and gentlemen. Is it super challenging and crazy niche? No, it's not anything like that. That's not what I mean. I mean it's uber masculine. Earthy. It's a fruity chypre that's not that fruity. It's more leather animalic chypre. Okay? It starts off up top with this bright citrus and it starts to really just change. This cistus note adds this kind of stickiness to it, kind of a thick undertone of sweetness that engulfs all these green, spicy, herbaceous components about this fragrance, including a heavy dose of oak moss. I get oak moss from the start all the way through the finish. It starts to change pretty rapidly from all of that to this rum note comes in. It gets warm, even warmer and boozy. Then this animalic leathery type of smell comes in. Then it starts to get a little bit creamy and woody. This musky, this cleaner musk starts to come in, but it never gets away from that. The way I described it in the video where I had my first impressions was it's not really I wouldn't call it super earthy dark as in like a dirty smell. I mean earthy tone, like a hue, a dark green is kind of a good way to look at it. Like think of the darkest shade of darker than a forest green, for example. Like the color of the bottle is very fitting because it goes, I don't have lighting behind me for you guys to see this, but it goes black gradient to green. The color scheme is a great match to the scent profile. The story of the essence, unearth the essence of your apex animal. That really fits when you read into the story. I got the King Cobra card, which stands for charming, bold, and protective. It's just everything about this I really like. Everything about it. Yeah, better release, much better release than Oligarch Parfum. I'm very impressed with this fragrance and the storytelling. Love the storytelling. When you can tell a great story and everything about the fragrance matches it, magnifique. Super impressed by that. Yes, this was sent to me by the brand, but if it was shit, I tell you it was shit. That's just what it is. I think this was such a good release. But don't blind buy this. I don't think you should blind buy this. I think you should get a sample when samples become available, a decant, something like that. Because unless everything you've heard from me, whoever, what you've read, what you've seen about it, whatever, unless it just super excites you, I can't in good faith tell you that it's safe to blind buy in any way, shape, or form. It's your money. You do what the hell you want. I don't control your money. This is just my opinion. I'm giving you my opinion. I think it's incredible. I think at minimum, for me and my taste, this is a 9 out of 10 overall fragrance because I don't do 10s. Danger Parfum is a 9.5 out of 10 for me, which a 9.5 is my 10s. And this is close. If I was to redo my top 10 Raja Parfums fragrance video that I did about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, this would be towards the top. This would be in the top 3 immediately. This is after a first impression spray and one wearing. That's how much I'm digging this. Sorry about the rambling. This fragrance really excites me. I can't wait for more of you to try this. Some people aren't going to like it. Like I said, it's a polarizing fragrance. It's earthy but not dirty. It's herbal, spicy green, but not too much. The balance is, Raja Dove did his thing with this one. The balance is just right. The performance fits it without being too overwhelming, though it is very strong in the opening. During the day, on Saturday, Raja Parfums Apex. Love this stuff. I really do. I'll probably be wearing it again in the next couple of days at the least. It's going to get a lot of wear here for a little while until I decide to fall in love with something else. That's going to be what I'm wearing the most right now. And then, like I said before, out the shower tonight, what's currently on me, you saw me spray down some more. Sean John, 3 a.m. Well, that is this week's rotation. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What did your week look like? Please let me know what your rotation looked like down in the comments. I'm very curious because this rotation was all about some days were really cold for winter fragrances and some days were more spring weather for more greenery and stuff like that. Like this is, I forgot to say when I was talking about it, I think this is such a good spring fragrance because it's so green, and it's a conversation starter because it's a bold green fragrance. I really dig it. Really, really dig it. And if it does smell like Tom Ford Italian Cypress, I need to smell Tom Ford Italian Cypress because I really dig this stuff. But let me know in the comments what your rotation looked like, even if it was just one fragrance all week. What fragrance captivated you and you just wore it all week? Love to read it down below. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the fragrances that I wore in this week's rotation and you give them a spray now, might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.